What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of 10-Minute Touch Warmup on the On the Floor with Liv and Core podcast. I'm Core, that's Liv, and this is the podcast. And today, you guys, did you see who just waved at you? Are you joking? We have the Beam Queen herself, Helen Hu, is with us from the University of Missouri. Helen, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Helen, I don't even know where to begin with this. So where I'm going to begin is to start our stopwatch because I wish I didn't have to start a stopwatch on this 10-minute touch warm up moment because I want to talk to you about everything under the sun, but we're going to. Okay.
Okay.
Olivia, I'm taking the first question on this one because I'm sorry. I'm sorry. She's
Fine.
she's mad. She's upset.
Fine.
Okay, ready? Here we go. Set, go. Helen, I need to know. Who inspired you most as a young gymnast in your club career?
Um, I know this is gonna sound cheesy, but Olivia Karis was like a huge influence in the club gym. I mean, she was like the top dog at our gym. She was the person my coach would be like, go look at her if you need to learn how to do skills. Um, and then probably not someone I knew personally, but Allie Raisman was a huge role model for me too. I think she was someone who set an example, not just as a gymnast, but like as a person outside of the sport. She was really cool.
Oh, amazing. I was tearing that up because I did know that that was going to be a response, but I also wanted to get Olivia's reaction. So that's so cute. I love this. They were in the
People
same.
don't understand. Like Helen and I used to have beam assignments where we had to do like stuff on the beam together. Like one person would do a back handspring layout, the other person would just do the back handspring like on the beam together. Like our beam assignments were insane that we used to do. Insane.
Yeah, I still think about our shared dismount off the beam. We would start running towards each other and then do a switch
Yes.
off, and it would look like we were about to collide. It was the coolest thing ever.
Wait,
Our
why?
beam practices were like 3 hours.
Wait, why would you
Yeah,
do that?
something.
Was that like were you just
Just
performing?
for fun, we did like these shared, like these partnered beam assignments. So we would get like 30 minutes to an hour to just like be creative and make whatever we want. And so, of course, we would try to make the coolest routines we could.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah.
Also, on brand for Helen Hu doing the coolest routine ever on balance beam,
Yeah,
right?
but Helen used to be able to do like 7 different mounts or combination things. And honestly, since you've been in college, you've done all of them in different areas in your routine, which I love. Like for a while, you did like I think the one into the split handstand into the gainer full you did. And
Hmm.
then you did that as your like you've done them all over the place. But I remember like your mount at one point in club was like 45 seconds.
It was way too much. Yeah.
And Irina would be like, let's add another handstand. That's like she hasn't
Right.
started a routine yet, and we're like already into a minute.
Yeah, pretty much. My wrists would start hurting. I'm like, I think maybe the minute long handstand in there is just a little bit too
Little
much.
much, just a little much.
Wait, that's amazing. Amazing. Olivia, I just
I
can't
also
wait
want
to
to make
hear.
sure everyone is aware that our club gym came up with Who Dat Gymnast, and we said you need to make that your Instagram handle, and it's been that since
Yep,
she made
since
it.
I got Instagram in sixth grade. Yeah, can't change it.
I just feel like I'm just gonna sit back and like watch you guys. Like this is just observing two animals in the wild. It's the best. Olivia, what
I do have
question do you have for Helen? That's what I
I
want.
do have actual questions. My first one is, how on earth did you take a year off and just like come back? That's my first question. And my second follow up to that is like, what the heck happened at this wedding when you figured out you were going to come back? And like, I need to know, like, how did that happen? And then you can go into like your year off and what you did and whatever.
Okay, so I mean, my whole year off, I was really, really active, so that helped me kind of stay in shape. I got really into yoga and surfing and hiking, and so like I stayed really flexible, I stayed really strong. And I mean, really, my if you look at my routine, it's four skills. I've got turn, jump, my series, and dismount. Like my aerial series really carries majority of my value. And so as soon as I threw an aerial on the beam, I knew that I could probably put together a beam routine because that was the hardest thing in my in my whole routine. So once I did that, I was like, okay, yeah, I could probably do this. Um, and so that's really how it happened was I came into town for that wedding, but I came a whole week early because I wanted to spend some time and catch up with, all my old friends here. And so I stayed with Jossie actually at her place for the whole week. And she had summer training, so I would just tag along and come to practice just to initially just to observe and say hi to everyone. But, I can't be in the gym and not hop on some equipment. And so like day one, I did some stretches to warm up and then I threw my series and it was like there. Like I just aerial, and I was like, oh hey, like I didn't wobble, that's still there. And so I didn't think anything of it initially, but then Shannon was making his offer, like, you should come back, you could still do it. And I laughed at him and I didn't take it seriously at all. But then he got Jossie and Mara to start talking to me, and like getting the idea further in my head. So he was sneaky about it, but it worked. They got me thinking about it as a real possibility, and then I couldn't get out of my head.
Oh my gosh. One of my questions for you is like I've seen places that you traveled for most of the year. Where did you travel to? Like what was this adventure that Helen Hu went on?
Yeah, I kind of cooked up this big plan with my sister during quarantine when we were losing our minds, stuck inside.
Yeah.
And my sister's a big traveler, so I always talked about as soon as I was done with gymnastics and I had the freedom to travel, I wanted to do a big trip with her. And so we came up with this idea that, she changes job every year or two. And so she's like, I'll just quit my job whenever you're done and we'll go off and just do whatever. I was like, great. And so we traveled, we started in Asia and we went to Japan and Vietnam, Thailand, India. I might be missing a few. And then we jumped to Central and South America. So we started in Mexico, and made our way all the way down to Colombia and Ecuador. Just like that one, we were just like bussing around to like different countries. I think we bussed across the entire length of El Salvador, just like on what they call like these little chicken buses, which is just old yellow school buses.
Oh my gosh.
Um, yeah, and then our last segment of the trip was just 1 month in Europe, and that was like a couple weeks in Italy and a couple weeks in Finland. And that was because we had like family friends over there. So that's why it's kind of a little bit more random.
What an adventure. How cool.
Yeah.
I like love that I mean, obviously you're active when you're on the move. Like you're constantly moving and walking. And every time I travel anywhere, all I do is walk. And so it makes total sense. But I also love that you got into yoga because you're naturally so flexible that I feel like it must just be incredibly entertaining and fun to do. But I love that.
Yeah, I mean, I think after I first finished gymnastics, I was like, woo, I can do whatever I want. And so I did nothing because I was tired. And I didn't stretch or do anything for about a good 2.5 months. And initially, like in 1 month, that felt good because I really needed rest. But that second month, I just noticed I started aching in a different way of
Yeah.
like, oh, I need to move. Like I got really stiff and I wasn't really taking care of myself. And so that's kind of how I got into yoga because I was like, oh, it really feels good to stretch when,
Yeah.
I actually just stretch and not just put my body through the ringer.
Amazing. So, okay, you came back, and I think I started to hear this story through the press conferences at regionals. But there's definitely been a very deliberate uh culture shift within Mizzou, with not just you coming back. Like the team existed, right? Like Amari and Jossie and Mara, like it existed, but it was also assembled in a very unique way. And I think the way that Shannon and the coaching staff utilized the transfer portal recently, obviously the creativity of bringing you back. The team that has been assembled at Mizzou this year is quite special, but it is very hand selected is kind of a way that I'll use. Um, how has that like benefited your guys' team and the closeness and the culture of just like what feels like you guys buying into everything that's being thrown at you? And obviously the result being what you guys wanted, which was a berth to nationals, and now you're going to go and crush it at nationals in this way. So speak a little bit about that team culture.
Yeah, it's something that I think Shannon has been working on before I even arrived, and I've seen him build it and cultivate it and work on it slowly over the years. And it was really cool. I think it improved from my freshman year to my senior year, and then to leave and come back and see that that growth had continued. I think that's what was a shock to me because I had left, so I didn't see that gradual progress. It might seem from the outside like there was this huge shift, but I think that's something that is really slow moving and really slow to change. But it's been in the works for a really long time, and I think it'll just continue to grow and thrive.
Yeah, I mean, even seeing you guys in the corral, like you guys are a close-knit team, you guys are having a blast, like, and you're gritty, you're competitive, you're gritty, and you know what great gymnastics is, and it's so clear to like to the general fan, but also to us fans that are getting the front row seat to it. So it's been really fun to watch.
Yeah, it's fun to be a part of for sure.
I
I
bet.
saw you post on Twitter that the beam routine you did at regional finals was quite literally the most nerve-wracking beam routine you've ever done. And it's so funny to me because I never, and like correct me if I'm wrong, but I never remember you being a nervous person when we were competing when we were younger. You were always very like, go up, do your job, get it done, and look forward to what was for dinner because you were my like food queen. You were always like, what's for dinner? But
Yeah,
then
that's
when
still
I
pretty
saw that
accurate.
but when I saw that tweet, I was like, I wanted to ask you about that. Like, what made, obviously, I know what made you so nervous, but like, what did you know did you know you needed a certain number? Did you, like, what really made the nerves set in? Or was it looking back on it going, oh, that was really nerve-wracking?
For the most part, I'd say I don't get too nervous. I think I that whole rotation was really nerve-wracking because we've never had a beam rotation this year that started off like that.
Right.
So I think for me, it was almost like I was carrying stress for my team because it was such a tough way to end the meet because it was so high pressure. But I had no idea what the scores were. I don't look at the numbers. That's not something I ever want to have in my head when I'm getting up on beam. But I think just watching the second, third, fourth routine, like that was what was really nerve-wracking for me. And it wasn't that I didn't trust them. I knew that they could hit it, but it was just that I knew that we hadn't been put under pressure quite like that in that moment. And so that was just like the human in me was like, oh man, like this is really scary. But once like we had two or three more routines that went well, and once it was my turn, the nerves had gone down. And I didn't know how close of a call it really was. And so once I got on the beam and I was doing my skills, I wasn't nervous in those moments. I think that's why I can perform because once I start my dance, I'm in my own bubble and it's just me and the beam. But before and after, that was really nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I get that. I had a feeling you would say that, but I can't even imagine a situation like that. I'm way more numerically focused, so I always like liked to know
Mhm.
personally. And so I can't even imagine. But I saw you posted that and I was like, I need to ask her about that because you were never nervous when we were growing up competing. Ever. It was annoying because I would get up on beam and I'd be like shaking and I'm like, I hate you. She just gets up there and is like, and then off she goes.
For the record, Olivia does not hate Helen Hu. That is that
No, quite literally the opposite.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
Just the
like,
lack of nerves. No,
yeah,
I've gotten that before. Yeah. I mean, I really do love Beam, and so when I'm up there, it's a fun time. And so even when I am a bit nervous, which I certainly was a little bit more nervous at regionals than I would be at a normal meet. But I think probably like even when I feel that I'm more nervous than usual, it's only like a little bit of nerves. Like it's the kind of nerves that help me focus and not the ones that make me like tremble.
yeah,
So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good.
Okay, I
I
have
know we have
one.
that. Oh, you go, Corey. Then I have
I
one
have,
more before our final question.
okay, sounds good. I real quick. I mean, you got the first 10 of the season.
Oh, that's what I was gonna ask. Okay.
Oh, you asked the question. I just want to
No,
make
go, go,
sure we
go.
talk.
This is good. This is good.
You got the first 10 of the season, and I don't know how if you don't like numbers or weren't interested in the numbers, like this season in particular, scoring was just really tight at the beginning of the season, right? And I think everyone was waiting for that first 10 to happen, but then no one was shocked that it was that beam routine from you. It was in Oklahoma, right?
yes.
And no one was shocked. And it was a work of art. And it set the tone for what a 10.0 on balance beam should be. So I guess mine is more of a statement, like congratulations on that, but also, we talked about this in the regionals press conference. Like you do balance beam in a way that makes it undeniable. Like the judge cannot even take a deduction for anything that they're seeing because you're choosing to point through your toes in a particular way. Your releve is undeniable. You like every movement that you have is just incredible. So kudos to you for just working on those details and making yourself undeniable, which then has now created undeniability for the Missouri Tigers.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I know you wanted a 10. So it's so amazing that you got that in this year, like after being off a year. Like that's just so cool and special. And like, yeah, I'm just so proud of you. I know that that was something you really wanted. So I'm really happy that you got it.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember everyone was freaking out because they were telling me it's the first one, and I was like, I know, I've been waiting my whole life for this. Like, I was talking about how it's my first 10 because I'm so excited. Because again, I don't
Right.
pay attention to that sort of stuff, and so everyone's like, no, Helen, you don't understand. Like, everyone's been waiting. Who's gonna get it first? And I was like, I don't understand what you're telling me. Like, what's the big deal, right? Like,
Yeah.
surely someone else. I don't know what you mean by that. And so everyone was shaking me by the shoulders, like, you got the first one. I was like, I know, I finally.
It's
It's
amazing.
just not on the same page.
Okay.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
It's so good. Okay, we have one final question for you, and we're asking all of the student athletes that we're chatting with this week ahead of nationals this same question. NCAA gymnastics is one that's really unique in the sense that many of the athletes that will be competing in Fort Worth have all competed like on the same floors in many different environments, whether it's in club or, throughout the regular season. And there's a family about NCAA gymnastics in that way. Yet you are also competitors and you want to beat each other in all of those ways. But I think it's very unique to our sport. And so my question for you is there an athlete or athletes on another team that you are inspired by or that continue to push you and motivate you, whether it's in the gym, out of the gym, their character, or maybe their gymnastics?
That's a tough one. Um, I'm not sure I have a good answer for this one, guys. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Um,
You can even answer like a team that might inspire you. Also, we can cut this so that we can make it look like you answered it quickly.
yeah, I'm trying to think because I actually like I really am not super in touch with other gymnasts on the other teams.
Which I love, actually.
Yeah, I'm a little bit, I mean, Olivia knows this. I'm a bit of an introvert and I'm kind of in my I'm just in my own bubble, so that kind of exists both literally and on social media. Um,
Yeah.
hmm.
Do you have like a former teammate? And maybe not at Nash, they're not going to nationals, like that's fine too.
No, I'm old. Everyone's done.
Oh.
Yeah, and art, yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Oh, Ellie Lazari on Florida.
Okay, let's go
She
with
did.
that.
Okay,
Let's
okay.
lead into that again. I'll just say I'll go like this. Is there another athlete on another team that you are inspired by or that, motivates you in and out of the gym?
I have a connection to Ellie Lazari. We were best friends when we were in like level 5 and 6. We were in the same region. And I remember exchanging emails and like FaceTiming her on my little iPad back when I was a kid. And so it was really cool to see her go to Florida and achieve everything that she has. Not just in the gym, but academically too. I know she's always pushing herself and she's just achieved so much. So she's a really cool person.
Oh, I love that. Honestly, you and Ellie do have like similar energies to me. Like I think that that's so cute and I love that. And you get to see her
Oh,
at nationals this week.
Yeah.
So fun.
oh,
So
cute.
fun. Well, Helen, thank you so much for hopping on here today. It means a lot to us that you take time out of your busy schedule ahead of nationals to just share a little bit more about your story. I mean, if anything, I'm incredibly inspired to create a multiple continent travel trip in my future. So I might need your itinerary if you are willing to share.
Just go. I just went to the cheapest possible countries and stayed in hostels. You just meet a whole bunch of cool people, and they always are happy to give you recommendations.
Oh, the
It's
people
the
don't.
most Helen thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about the people who got to meet Helen Hu and hang out with her, like
And
in,
like not know that they were in the presence of like an absolute icon. Like, oh, hello.
yeah, yeah. Oh, crazy. Well, thank you, Helen. We appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
That's another episode of a 10-minute touch warm up, in air quotes, because we definitely went over again. Whatever. This segment, we shouldn't even call it the 10-minute touch warm up anymore at this point. We're just
Oops.
having a blast. It's okay though. And we hope everyone's enjoying. And as we look forward to Fort Worth this week, just some amazing energy, some amazing momentum moving into this week. It's going to be so fun. And just to think about all of these inspiring athletes in one floor and in one space is just it's it's making me excited. So we hope you guys are having a great week and thanks again, Helen, for being on here, and we will see you all in Fort Worth. Bye.
Thank you. See you guys.